Guys, what's going on? Just on the way to the gym, and I thought I would do a quick video about some questions that have been coming up recently with some clients that I think it's worth talking about, and that's retention. So when it comes to your business, and this is almost every business that is service-based, unless that service-based business basically solves the issue of the customer first time round, right? Which isn't a lot. But when it comes to a video-based business, if you're a freelancer or you've got your own agency, a lot of the time you focus on one thing, which is lead generation. And how can you get more leads, and in turn more customers, more conversions, more jobs, more work, etc., etc. And it's a really good thing to focus on. And if you're focused on lead generation, you obviously know what the fucking pain points in business are. And if you have a consistent lead generation model, fantastic. That's how you scale. And it's also how you scale reliably, because sometimes you can just get lucky and land a retainer and hit six figures. Like, that happens. But where the money really, really fucking lies, and where the insane amount of value is in your existing client network. So you can spend all this time and money, if you're running ads, on client acquisition. And it's great to have a system like that works for you. But the next system you have to put in place is retention, because every business that succeeds will solve their lead generation system. And then they hit the next issue, which is retention. And it's like, okay, how can we keep the clients that we currently have, or how can we upsell products that we currently have and make more money from them? Because if you can upsell to an existing client, you are making the return on investment even better, because you haven't got to go out and do prospecting. You haven't got to pay money to get the client in the door for the first time. And if you did a good job, they already really fucking trust you. So retention is the metric that everyone kind of forgets about. And when you get to know your customers, retention can become really easy and really valuable, because especially when you niche down, you work with a lot of the same type of client who have very similar problems, and the solutions most of the time become very similar as well. So landing a retainer with a client means you can most likely land the same retainer with a different client, because that retainer is solving, an issue over a period of time, right? So let me give you an example, so this isn't all waffle. If you have a let's just say, I don't know, a restaurant, and it's quite a bougie restaurant, quite seasonal, and they throw a lot of events, right? And they want a photographer or a videographer at these events that happen, let's just say, every weekend. And they want that consistent content. It's like, okay, cool. Well, that to me sounds like a great basis for a retainer model, which is something that you want to explore with them. Because obviously guaranteed cash flow is a really nice place to be in as a freelancer, because it removes the monkey brain of where's the next job coming from, because you've got a retainer going. Now, let's say you land this retainer with restaurant A. Fantastic. You start providing results. They love it. Everyone's happy. You're doing the work you need to do. They're getting the results they need. You can take that exact blueprint and apply it to all your other customers, all the other restaurants that you work with. So you can turn one client's problem, one client's solution, into the solution for all your clients. And all of a sudden, you might have 2, 3, 4 retainers. And you don't need client acquisition anymore. You need a fucking editor, because all of a sudden you've got so much work. And the work didn't come from new clients. The work came from your existing base. And a lot of the times, I've given you a really easy to understand example there with the restaurant, but a lot of the times you can just find out what your clients need on a month-to-month or year-to-year basis by just doing a bit of market research, getting on the call with them, finding out what problems they have, and foreseeing what kind of problems they're gonna have as well. That's where you really position yourself as the expert. So what do I mean by that? It's like, okay, let's say you work in the fitness niche as a videographer or photographer or whatever, and you know that in a year's time, they're going to have X problem because the content has brought in more leads. So now they've got more leads. Now maybe they're going to have to open a new gym, or maybe they're going to have to start hiring other PTs to help them run the gym. You know, from working in the fitness industry for a few years, that problem is around the corner. So you can build out a package to help with recruitment. You can build out a package to help with a launch event video or something similar, you know? And when you can start foreseeing these problems for your customers, this is when you can get really you can start making a lot of money, because then you're not just a guy with a camera. You're almost like a business strategist for them, and you're helping them achieve X. And you do that with film. So you're providing a solution and you're providing a service that solves a problem, and that problem is solved by video. So think about that. Think about how can you further add value to your clients? How can you further add value to the people you currently work with? And, you know, explore that and have conversations with them about it as well, because the problems, and take this from experience because I've been wrong so many fucking times. The problems you think they are going to face, you're probably wrong. You need to have the experience behind you to like really judge that. And you need to have open and frank conversations with them. You know, when I started working with freelance videographers, I thought all of their problems was about lead gen. So I just did all my content about lead gen to solve the issue. And I realized some of them do not have lead gen problems. They have delivery problems. They have retention problems. They have, I don't know, fulfillment problems. They have hiring problems. There's loads of problems that can come. Client acquisition just seems to be a very obvious one, and one that most people struggle with. But there's a plethora of other things that people get really fucking wrong for some reason. I mean, I didn't mean some reason. I understand the reasons because I went through them as well. But it's very interesting. So what I'm trying to say is do your market research and find out what your clients are struggling with and what they think they're going to struggle with, and go from there. The wonderful thing about retention, guys, is you can build up relationships with your clients over years, and sometimes your clients will really fucking grow. Some of the biggest clients we had when I ran my agency, they weren't like unicorns that we just happened to land, or massive companies we happened to land because of a cold outreach email or they saw an ad, right? It's because we started working with that, I don't know, cybersecurity firm 7 years prior on, I don't know, £250 video work, right? And then over the course of the 7 years, the relationship grew and grew and grew. And by the time I sold the agency, we had a 6-figure year retainer with that one client. So we were making 6 figures off one client. And it was a video and podcast retainer, really fucking easy to fulfill. And it wasn't hard at all. It just became about organization. So that's why retention's so important, because the longer you keep a client, the bigger you build the trust, the bigger the budgets you get. And in that time, if your client grows as well, so is their budget. So you really want to stop focusing on the churn of, I need to get 5 leads a month in order to sustain my business. Start thinking, how can I upsell all my current clients and provide more value to them so they can get more results? And in turn, we grow together, because growing together is the way that you grow your company. You know, you want to be a partnership. I feel like I'm repeating myself now, so I'm going to check out and I'm almost at the gym. But guys, I hope that's some good values for you. Retention, 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 retention. All right. Peace out.